big breaking news coming out after the shock ending to Monday Night Raw, which saw the Visions, Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, turn their back on Seth Rollins. And the reason for that shock ending to Monday Night Raw is because Seth Rollins may be injured, and no, this time it is now work. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Money Mike, and this is Ringside Cinema. And unfortunately, we do seemingly have an update on what happened on Monday Night Raw, which, I mean, this is just 2015 all over again. We saw what happened. You go back to 2015, Seth Rollins won the main event of WrestleMania. He was a World Heavyweight Champion. He was the WWE Champion. And then he later tore his ACL and he had to vacate the title, leading to him being out for months. He missed WrestleMania 32 because of it. And now it does seem a torn rotator cuff may see him miss WrestleMania 42. Obviously, your first response when you see this, and I even posted this on X, and I was like, Seth Rollins is injured. That's interesting. Oh, wait, I've seen this before. He ain't really injured, right? See, this is where the WWE really messed things up over the summer because, like, when you do an injury angle and you're obviously faking an injury to work a storyline and you're trying to for a cash in like they did over the summer, and they worked everybody. It was not the fan. It was not just the fans. It was the boys in the locker room. I'm assuming the WWE medical team. And Seth Rollins showed up on the Rich Eisen show. He was on crutches. He had a cast on his leg. Um, there was video I think posted by Becky Lynch where he was out with his daughter and he was on crutches, and so they were really going to a very, very extreme end to make us believe Seth Rollins got hurt in that match against LA Knight on Saturday night's main event. And so obviously I can kind of see why some fans are kind of speculative already about this injury, so to speak, because some people have said, oh, well, why would he take a spear? Why would he take a tsunami from Bronson Reed if he's really injured? And again, I understand people saying that, oh, well, why would he take bumps if he's injured? Well, do you not remember the fact that Seth Rollins was literally Cody Rhodes' opponent in the Hell in a Cell match when Cody tore his pec and Cody still wrestled a Hell in a Cell match with a torn pec? I mean, look, I think it was at the I think it was I think this is very similar to that moment where I think Cody Rhodes kind of was like, "Hey, it's already torn, it's already damaged, nothing else, it's already bad enough. So whatever else happens, right? It can't hurt it anymore, essentially." So I guess from that point, Seth Rollins was like, "Hey, at this point, my shoulder's done. Like might as well just, whatever's done is done. So might as well just go through with it." And so he still agreed to take all the bumps and the spear and the tsunamis and everything. So I can see why fans are speculating why maybe the WWE is trying to work us again. And the thing here is, it's not the injury that they would be working us with. It's the fact that the vision is broken up because they didn't do the angle on Raw where Seth got injured because of Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. The spot in which he got injured was during the match with Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel, which kind of ironic given what I just talked about with the Hell in a Cell match that he had with Cody Rhodes, where Cody was the one who wrestled injured. And here, Seth Rollins gets injured wrestling Cody Rhodes. And you can kind of see, I've seen the wide shot angle of this where when Seth does the coast to coast and he lands awkwardly on his shoulder, which is where the injury happened. So it does seem like from that standpoint, it is legit. But again, I do question it wasn't the injury that they're trying to work us with. Because again, Braun and Bronson didn't do anything to his shoulder to say that they caused the injury. But again, it's one of those things where CM Punk is the number one contender. We're on course for another CM Punk Seth Rollins match. And obviously, maybe Seth Rollins wants to lure CM Punk into this false sense that Seth Rollins is by himself. He doesn't have the vision. The vision left him. And then Saturday night's main event, Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed show up to help Seth retain, and it was all a ruse all along. That's kind of where the WWE would be working us. Not the injury. It's they've broken up. Braun and Bronson have left Seth Rollins. Oh, but they just helped him win, and now they're all hugging each other because we all fell for it again. That would be where the whole WWE is working us. So now that it does seem as if this injury is legit, where do we go with Survivor Series? I made a predictions video for War Games, which coincidentally came out after Monday Night Raw aired here in the States. And obviously, I made that video on Sunday night so that I could have the video out on Monday. And obviously, I didn't watch Raw live. I was at work. I didn't watch Raw until after I got home on Monday night. So that's when I saw everything happen. And of course, if you watch that video, you know that I made a prediction that, hey, it's going to be Seth Rollins leading the division into War Games, as we have seen with every other heel stable every year since War Games has come in or has been brought into the main roster, whether it's the Bloodline, Judgment Day. So it's one of those things where clearly it was going to lead to something at Survivor Series with the Vision against Roman, Punk, maybe LA Knight, Jay, Jimmy. So it's one of those things where that's potentially scrapped. Now we gotta look beyond Survivor Series. We're at the Royal Rumble. What about WrestleMania? Because a torn rotator cuff is 6 to 12 months recovery. It's October. 6 months from now, April is April. So Seth probably will be out of WrestleMania depending the severity of the injury. And we're also looking at that going, what does that mean for the World Heavyweight Championship picture at WrestleMania? Because clearly, I think they were setting up Seth versus Roman at WrestleMania. I think we were finally going to get that Mania match between Seth and Roman, and it being for the World Heavyweight Championship. And now it's probably not going to happen. Because even if, let's say it is only 6 months, you're talking Seth having to be rushed back from an injury. And again, he's 10 years older than he was when he got injured in 2015. So his body is going to take a little bit longer to recover. So, we're probably looking at a SummerSlam return next year for Seth Rollins if he is out for over a year. But again, well, That's if it's only about 6 or 7 months. If we're talking a full year, that means Seth Rollins coming back probably next November by next year's Survivor Series. So that's going to throw a lot of things off creatively. You know, what do you do with Roman Reigns now? What do you do with Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed? We saw Bron Breakker hold up the World Heavyweight Championship at the end of Monday Night Raw. And hey, Randy Orton, take some advice from Bron Breakker. The dude looked at the world title one time and he struck on Seth Rollins. You've been staring at Cody Rhodes' title for 50 years now. Are you going to do something or not? But like, it's one of those things now. Do you just skyrocket Bron Breakker to the top? You know, I said this when Naomi got pregnant and they had her vacate the title. You know, I said just put the women's title on Stephanie Vaquer and just rocket her straight to the top of the card. And honestly, I think that's kind of what they should consider doing with Bron Breakker. I think Bron Breakker, you know what? Look, we've talked about this before. I think a lot of people have. When you look at the ages of the men who are at the top of the card right now in the WWE, a lot of them are getting up there in age. And the WWE at some point is going to have to consider a youth movement. They're going to have to consider doing what they did in the early 2000s, where they took chances on guys like Edge, Eddie Guerrero, Brock Lesnar. They took chances on young guys because The Rock was gone, Austin was gone. They needed to create new stars, and well, Roman Reigns, part timer. Cody Rhodes is getting up there. He's doing movies now. So how much longer do you really still have Cody Rhodes? John Cena's retiring at the end of this year. Seth Rollins, he is injured again. And again, how longer do you have him around? Drew McIntyre's up there. How much longer do you have these guys that are sitting up there at the top of the card? And how long can you keep them there how long can you keep them there while you have your Bron Breakkers, your Jacob Fatu's, your Trick Williams down in NXT, and so forth, still sitting in the dugout waiting to be propelled into that main event scene? I think now with Seth Rollins being injured and he is really out for a long period of time, I put the title on Bron Breakker. I mean, yes, CM Punk is the number one contender. Yes, I'm sure the WWE wants to give CM Punk a legitimate run with the world title, and I would love to see that. You know, as a CM Punk fan, I would love to see him get one more legitimate world title run in the WWE. And again, he's also up there in age. How much longer is he going to be around? So it's one of those things where you might as well see what you have in Bron Breakker. Put the world title on him. I don't know if you do Bron Breakker versus CM Punk at Saturday Night's Main Event now, but like just have Bron Breakker win. Have him become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Like, time to see what you have in these young guys. And you put Braun in that spot to see what he can do. Can he handle the spotlight? And obviously, we talked about guys like Bron Breakker, Jacob Fatu, and so many others being the future. Well, that future is now. And you look at WrestleMania. What do you do with Braun WrestleMania without Roman Reigns? If Roman was supposed to face Seth, do you pivot that to say Roman versus Cody 3? You know, Roman being by himself, Cody being by himself. You know, let's see who truly is the better man between Roman versus Cody for the undisputed WWE Championship. You know, or do you do Roman versus Braun in a passing of the torch match where Braun is maybe the World Heavyweight Champion and Roman loses to Braun or or Roman is the world heavyweight champion. You put the title back on Roman, and then Braun beats Roman at WrestleMania. You're a passing of the torch moment. There's a lot of things right now with the WWE that are going to be up in the air because of Seth Rollins' injury. Obviously, the severity of the injury is going to be what's most important. How long is he out? You know, obviously at this point, if it is a torn rotator cuff, he misses WrestleMania, then at that point, I think you got to start putting plans in place to figure out what your new WrestleMania match is going to be for the World Heavyweight Championship. You got to start shuffling the board a little bit to see who faces who now, right? So comment below, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Should the WWE just put the strap to Bron Breakker and give him the World Heavyweight title? Should it be CM Punk? Do you think that maybe Roman Reigns should do it in order to pass the torch to Bron Breakker at WrestleMania? Comment below, guys, and best wishes to Seth Rollins. Truly, Seth Rollins, he has been a workhorse for the WWE, and him being injured, missing time, is a huge loss to the WWE. And all I can do is wish him the best in his recovery. I've been your host, Money Mike. You've been watching Ringside Cinema.